Hey y'all, it's Katie. Welcome back to From My Vanity and welcome to my October favorites and just okay products. Now last month I did split up my favorites and fails and I put my okays with my fails, but this month I had so many fails and so few favorites. I was like, I'm gonna swap them. We're gonna put the okay products after the favorites and break it up that way. So I hope that sounds good to you, but let's just keep this intro really short and sweet and dive into the products that I tried during the month of October and just thought were really good quality and just overall great products. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the products that were okay. These were not favorites by far, but they weren't exactly full out duds for me personally. Like, I could use them in ways that I enjoyed them, but once I run out, I wouldn't repurchase it, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and talk about the one that surprised me the most as being an okay product, but this is this sleek makeup highlighting palette in the Solstice. It says 032 on it. Very reflective packaging, but it's this little guy here. And when I first tried it the first couple times, I thought it would be an all-time favorite. I thought I would be so obsessed with it. I thought it would be so amazing. And I feel like overall everyone seems to love this palette. But something I noticed the more I wore it, and I think one of the reasons I noticed this is because I've been doing a lot of more natural makeup where I just do concealer and then a powder foundation or even a tinted moisturizer and call it a day. But I'd still want to highlight, so I've been using this. But I noticed when I do those kind of very light makeup applications, this actually doesn't stick around the whole day and it fades off substantially to the point where at the end of the night you almost can't see it, which is kind of depressing for me because I was just like, like I had a blinding highlight on, which is kind of what I want when I go very natural with my makeup. I still want to have a really nice highlight to make it just look like I'm awake and alive and I've, got great skin and whatnot. I like that glow to be there, and at the end of the night, while I don't think my foundation or powder foundation or whatnot had faded off that much, I noticed that when my oils start to come throughout the day, this definitely starts to just like leave your face. And I don't know what it is about it. I do also notice that it will transfer. So on the days when I had lighter makeup, my oils start to come through and it's almost just like all the glitter transfers all over my face, because that's another thing with this. When I would use it, I would notice at the end of the night when I go wash off my face, like I have glitter down here, it just all over. Nothing like crazy where someone would look at me and be like, whoa, Katie, what happened to you? But it's something when I looked in the mirror up close, I could see it and I didn't like it. So I definitely feel alone in my thoughts for this, but that's just something I noticed. It doesn't exactly wear that well when you have light makeup on. Now, if I have a full face with a nice, liquid foundation underneath, powder and all that, I do notice that it does stay relatively well. It fades a little bit, but nothing too crazy. It's still noticeable that you have a highlight on at the end of the day. So that is something to note. But one other con to this, and another reason I'm putting it in my okay, is because there are 4 shades. One is a cream highlight, which is very pretty. I've used a handful of times, but I don't tend to use creams. So that kind of negates that. I don't use it that much. But these 3, there's not a whole lot of difference to them in color. Like in the pan, it looks like there's a lot of difference. But really the only difference that I saw between these was that this was a very light highlighter, like almost not their highlighter, and then these 2 were blinding. But color-wise, between these 3, you really couldn't see, like, everything just looked icy white, if you ask me, except this one was just very dull in comparison to these 2. So I noticed whenever I would reach for this palette, it didn't really matter which shade I grabbed for. They all kind of look the same, except that, if I grabbed this, I knew not much of a highlight was going to show up or I would have to build it a lot. So any day I use this, I usually ended up using one of these to intensify it if I wanted that. So that was just kind of like a little, I don't know, there's different shades in here, but they all look icy white on my skin tone. So that was another reason that I just this didn't wow me as much. And honestly, if I'm going to want a blinding highlight like this, I prefer this Pixi Glowy Glossimer Duo and Delicate Dew. This is a very icy highlight. Like, it is gorgeous. So icy, but there is a tone difference between these 2. I don't even know if you can see it on camera, but I promise you there is a big tone difference when you use it on your skin. I think you can see that. Yeah, one's a lot more bronzed. So there's a big tone difference there, but this also gives that same blinding icy highlight, and it looks very similar on the skin, except I feel like I like this a touch more, how it looks on my skin, than this. So all that to say, like, if you're looking at this and eyeing it, wanting to buy it, this is like $15. This is $18. I would say just go get this, because this one just didn't impress me that much. Another product that I'm finally just going to put in my okay category is the Milani Hypnotic Lights Holographic Eye Topper. This is in the shade 01, I think. While I think this is gorgeous, it's really pretty. I like how fine the glitter is. It's very hard to get the glitter to stick, and it's very hard to apply to your lid without messing up the shadow underneath. And those are just, if I'm going to go for a liquid glitter, I want it to be easy to apply like my Stila glitters, and I want it to stay on my face as much, or stay on my eyes as much as possible and not fall all over my face when I use glitter glue. And even on the days when I use glitter glue, unless I went in super lightly and just maybe, you know, put some on the back of my hand and then just tapped it on, those days it was fine. I thought it was a nice sheer glittery kind of effect to it. It was really nice if you had an all matte look and just wanted a little bit of glimmer to put it on the inner corner or something like that. I enjoyed it most then, but as a drugstore alternative to the Stila glitters, it's definitely not. It's very fine type of glitter, not a whole lot of color to it, so not a whole lot of pigment, and it falls onto your face throughout the day. So for me, I bought this wanting to see if I could find a Stila dupe at the drugstore, and this just fell short. My favorite way to use it is as an inner corner kind of highlight and glow, but it doesn't work for me for all over the lid. That's the reason this is in the just okay category. It's the Mellow Tinted Brow Gel. I got this in last month's Bhakti Charm, and I honestly thought I would not like it because this baby is pretty big, but it's not that bad. Even though it's such a big applicator, I actually find that it's not that hard for me to apply and use in my brows. It applies very nicely, it blends into the brows nicely, and I did notice that, especially on the days when I went a lot lighter with my makeup, I could just use this, run it through my brows, and it looked nice. It's a tad warm for me, but that's not the brow product's fault. But overall, I just felt like it kept my brows in place relatively well. But overall, it didn't wow me. I would never repurchase it, but it's a nice product. Nice one to get my boxy charm, and I will definitely use it up. And then last up for the okay category is the other product that I have in my brows. It is the NYX Fill and Fluff brow product. It's this little duo here. It has a brow pencil, a relatively thick one on one side, and then a little brush basically is what it is on the other side. It's not a spoolie. And I really actually like the brush. It's nice and it works for my brows, but the reason I put it in the okay category is because I feel like it's a bit of a gimmick. Like, I feel like a spoolie will work just as well, and if you don't have thicker brows, you probably won't like this. I don't know. I just feel like it works for my brows, but a lot of pencils work for my brows. The color stays just fine, but I do like that since it's a brush, it holds a lot of product. So there's some days when I want to go very bare or very natural on my lashes, or on my brows, and I just want to fill in the sparse areas. I can take whatever's left on here and brush over it, and it fills it in. So that is nice, but I don't know. I don't think I'll ever repurchase it. I just feel like I'll go back to the usual brow with spoolie and call it a day. The size of this was nice for my brows. I did like it. It's a bit thicker. It's not like a macro brow pencil, so keep that in mind if you're someone with smaller brows, but it works nicely for mine. Stays in relatively well. I don't notice it like crumbling throughout the day, so it's nice, but I don't know. It's not a favorite for some reason because it's kind of a gimmicky product. Does that make sense at all? I don't know, but I couldn't name it as a favorite of mine, but I'll finish it up, put it that way. So that's why I figured I would put it in the okay category. Alright, so moving right along, those are all the okay products. Let's go ahead and move in. I feel like I'm a little off-centered. Let's move into the favorites. First up being the foundation I'm wearing. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Foundation 24-Hour Fresh Wear. Not exactly sure what it's called, but it's this little guy here. I picked it up when it was new-ish, and then we moved and I didn't get to try it till this month. And I actually really, really like it. I don't think anyone really talks about it because, like I said, it did release earlier this year at the beginning of the year, but it's a nice foundation. My favorite way to use it was with a stipple brush, just to get a very light coverage, but I find that it doesn't have a whole lot of coverage. So when you wear it, I feel like it evens out and gives your face a very flawless look, but it's nothing that looks like super thick, cakey, and heavy, at least in my opinion. Like, I don't know, like I said, I'm wearing it today. You can let me know. I feel like I'm a little dark, which is kind of throwing it off because I'm not quite this dark in person. Let me see if I can mess with the lighting. I don't know. I'm forever messing with this lighting. I feel like I don't understand it. But anyway, I think that it gives a much more of a lighter look to your foundation, which I like. You guys I've said this a million times. I've been going for more of a light wear type of foundation, nothing too heavy and cakey. And it lasts really well throughout the day. When I take my makeup off at night, it really does look the same at night as it does in the beginning of the day. If anything with this foundation, I'll notice it settles just a little bit into the lines of my like smile lines here and then into my forehead, but not much. Like with a heavy full coverage foundation, that can really settle into the lines of my face and make it look like I'm, you know, always being expressive, just because it settles and then it stays. This is just barely, like, you have to get up close to a mirror to actually see, like, yep, it settled into the lines a little bit. So it's very minimal, and just overall, it's very comfortable to wear. It's very, you know, lightweight on the skin. It doesn't feel cakey. It doesn't feel like heavy makeup, and it was just really nice to wear. I have more dry skin, so I'm curious to see if I'll continue to like it after the baby comes and my skin returns to more of an oily finish or an oily complexion, but right now I've really been enjoying it. So overall, I was very impressed, and this definitely was a product that stood out to me this month as being a favorite. I know we just talked about like this lightweight foundation being a favorite, but I also really enjoyed the CoverFX Power Play foundation, and this baby is pretty full coverage. Now I will say I did not like applying this or wearing this when I used a brush. It was just a little too heavy and cakey for me right now. I think that has a lot to do with my preference being more lightweight and also my skin being more dry. So maybe, you know, in the summer when I'm super oily again after I have the baby and then it's hot out, maybe I'll like a more full coverage matte finish. But the way that I really enjoyed wearing this is with a sponge and just taking a little bit and really diffusing it out. It gives more of a heavy coverage or more of a full coverage than this one for sure. But if you use a sponge and if you're careful not to use too much, just like I would just dot it around my face very lightly, it can give you a nice coverage and still feel light on the face. It's definitely heavier than the L'Oreal one, but it's still relatively light and not too cakey. I wore this yesterday, so I'll link, I think I already did my BoxyCharm video. In that video, I was wearing this and I was sick, you guys. I had a cold, I was blowing my nose all day. I thought for sure that the first time I blew my nose, all this foundation would be off around my nose, mouth, all of that. But this actually took several times of blowing my nose to very lightly fade off. It did settle into the lines of my face more noticeably, or the lines of my forehead, more noticeably than this one, but still not that bad. So while this is full coverage and while I do have to be careful to not apply too much, I really did enjoy wearing it this month. So overall, I really like this. Next up, let's talk about the L'Oreal Unlimited Mascara. I feel like I've reviewed this on my YouTube channel before, but I had the waterproof, so I got the not waterproof. Wait, I think that's how it goes, or vice versa. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is the not waterproof version. I want to say I have the waterproof up there, and I can't remember why I didn't like it. Maybe too hard to get off. Anyway, I got this one to try, and I absolutely love this. This is the only mascara that I took with me when I went on a trip, and I think this is a great one and done mascara. I like the gradual, how the bristles gradually get longer. I like that it's a rubble bristle and not a natural bristle brush. That's just my preference. This is a thicker type of mascara formula, which is also my preference, and it just grabs your lashes and coats them very easily. You can do 2-3 coats, and I get the same effect with this one mascara as I do using like 2 different mascaras, you know, one to separate and one to thicken. This kind of separates and thickens really easily on its own. You can definitely go and, you know, do a little too much and get a little too clumpy, but if you're careful, this is a really great one and done mascara, and it's fantastic. It doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge, on me at least. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It's a bit tricky to take off at night, but not impossible, so I don't mind that. I just have to make sure I, you know, spend a couple extra seconds letting the eye makeup remover soak into my eyes and my lashes before I, you know, take it off. And also because the bristles are so short here, I'm able to use this for my lower lashes, which is amazing because I can't always use every mascara on my lower lashes just because they're so small and short. I make a mess everywhere. But I use this on my lower lashes and never made a mess. So that impressed me, and overall, this is a mascara I really like all on its own, which is always nice to find. I just took this one with me on the trip and I was set for the week. Next up is the highlighter that I have on my cheekbones. I'm sweating a little bit right now because of these lights, but the highlighter is from the CoverGirl TruBlend Super Stunner Hyperglow highlighter in the shade Pearl Crush. This is a really pretty highlighter. I was very impressed with it. It is a bit powdery, and I do prefer it when I can really kind of dust off, or like I'll put my brush in here, make sure I tap it off so I don't have a bunch of powder, and then more blend it into my skin. And then it just gives the most, if I can swatch it in a nice area, but it just gives the most gorgeous glow, and it's very easy to build up, very intense right off the bat. It's beautiful, and it is a highlighter that sticks around all day, no matter the type of foundation you have underneath it. There was many days I wore this in just powder and it still stuck around, unlike this guy over here. So yeah, the lasting power on this I noticed was very good. It still stayed on, and if I was careful to kind of make sure I blended in to my skin and not let all the powderiness puff everywhere, I liked how it looked, because I did notice if I took a super fluffy brush, just kind of dug it in there, got too much powder and just started going, I would get highlighter flecks and just powder everywhere. Wasn't a fan of that, so something to keep in mind. It's definitely a very powdery type of product. I don't think you can see, but it's definitely quite powdery. It's from the drugstore, super affordable, and it lasts all day on my skin, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous glow. Comes up, shows up right away, takes no work to build up, and yeah, this is just a standout product from this month. Really enjoyed wearing this. Alright, just 2 more products to go. We're going to talk about Baby Bat Beauty's liquid lipsticks. I was finally able to try these. These were a little tricky to review just because of the interesting colors I chose. These aren't colors I wear every day, so it took a little bit longer to try it, but the formula is what I want to talk to you guys about. The formula is really nice. It really reminds me of the one I have on my lips, which we're going to talk about next, but it's a very lightweight, liquidy formula. It reminds me of the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick formula, so if you like those, I think you would like these, and if you're looking for interesting colors, Baby Bat Beauty definitely has it. They are extremely opaque, like it takes no work to apply it. You don't have to go over any part more than once. You line your lips, let it dry, and then it stays on really well. It wears off gracefully. It doesn't leave a harsh line. It doesn't leave that weird line on your inner lip, and it looks really nice. It's pretty darn budge proof, and overall I was just really, really impressed and thought it was such a nice formula. I like how lightweight it felt on my lips as well, which is nice because there are some liquid lipsticks that will stay all day, which we're going to talk about one in my fails coming soon. But it's nice to have those, but then they just feel so bad on your lips all day. It's kind of like, my lips look great, but like every moment of the day, I feel them on my lips and I don't like it. So these were nice in that I applied them and I forgot I was wearing them. And yeah, I'm glad to have these in my collection and could definitely recommend the formula if there's a color that you're interested in. Check them out. Okay, last one. I don't know where my other one is, my favorite color, of course, but I have this color, Growler, on my lips. My battery is low, so let's hope we can make it through here. But this is the Menagerie Cosmetics Velvet Matte Liquid Lipstick. I have a Gator, Growler, and of course I'm going to blank on the kind of mauve tone, but I really like that shade. Obviously, that's the one that I use the most just because it's a regular color that I wear a lot, but this shade is also really pretty. I like it. And then this one is fun. It's fun. It's not a color I wear going out, but it is a lot of fun. But let's just talk about the formula. The formula of these is so, so nice. Kind of the same story with the Baby Bat Beauty. It's a very lightweight formula. It goes on super easy, super liquidy, kind of like that Huda, if you're familiar with the Huda. Like, look how opaque it is. It's just, so, so nice. It takes one layer on your lips. It's very opaque. You don't have to go over any areas more than once. It sets in and dries pretty fast, and then it doesn't budge. I've had this on my lips not very long, but I've been talking a lot. I did a little get ready with me, and then I filmed this video, and it's just very comfortable. And also the thing I like about it is it doesn't look exactly like a liquid lipstick. Like this dries down and it looks matte, but this almost looks like in my opinion, it looks more like a regular lipstick. Like it has that bit of hydration or moisture to it that gives you that, oh, you know, she's just wearing a regular lipstick. It doesn't look super matte. I hope I'm making sense here. But I absolutely love that about it because it just looks a little more healthy, a little more life-like on your lips, but it stays amazingly. It stays much longer than these do. So I was so impressed. I think I posted on Instagram. I'll stick it here if I can remember, but I wore this all day, applied it around 10 before going to the church service. We had lunch there. I came home. I didn't take my makeup off till that night, and I never retouched it at all. I think I took my makeup off around 7 or 8. And I think, like, I mean, in my opinion, you know, when you're talking, you can see that line, you know, where your lips aren't that color and where it stops and stuff like that. And I could kind of see that growing as the day wore on. But honestly, if my mouth was shut at the end of the day, it looked just as perfect at the end of the day as it did at the beginning of the day. So I was just so blown away by the lasting power of this formula. I really like it. If there is a color that you like, definitely give it a try. Like I said, I find them very comfortable to wear. I find them pretty darn budge proof, and I find them just to wear gracefully and beautifully. So I don't know what else to say. I had someone comment that I say the same thing over and over and over again, so I'll try to keep this short and brief. I highly recommend them. I find them super comfortable, and I like them a little bit more than the Baby Bat Beauty one. So definitely check them out. Menagerie Cosmetics is a brand I really love. This is the first time I've been able to try her liquid lipstick formula, and I am blown away, in love. And if there's a color that is unique to my collection, or if I want to replace a color that's maybe going bad in my collection, I'm definitely checking out her formula just because it is so spot on, so comfortable, and so long wearing. Alright, so by some miracle, I made it to the end without my battery dying. My leg is cramping. I need to stand up and stretch it, so it's probably good that I'm wrapping this up. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my favorites, what products really stood out to me from the month of October. Don't forget to stay tuned. As I said, I'm going to be recording my product fails here soon, and then I will be doing my palette palooza, where I review all of the eyeshadow palettes that I tried during the month of October, and I think I have 4 or 5 palettes, so I'm super excited to be sharing those with you guys, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, with all that said, I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.